Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and thank you, R, for the request. Now, I know you asked for a specific moment involving Barabus Dantioch, but he is such an amazing character that I think I'm going to do a lore dive on him instead. Barabus Dantioch was a warsmith for the Iron Warriors and was one of the favored sons of their Primarch, Perturabo. His tactical acuity and his favoritism with his Primarch would lead him to be put in the position of fighting off the Xenos incursion known as the Hrud. The Xenos are known for having an entropic field that generates and fast-forward time around them at a rapid rate. So, as a result, this would cause stone to age, fortifications to crumble in a matter of seconds, and even turn Astartes, which are seemingly ageless, to dust through time. In the midst of the battle, Barabus Dantioch would be caught in one of these entropic fields, which would result in his rapid aging. Not only would this battle result in a failure, but Barabus Dantioch would also be left crippled as a result of the aging. He would then go to his Primarch Perturabo and question the tactical acuity and what was the strategy behind the placement of what he had tasked him with, calling it foolish even. Not choosing to take this criticism lightly, especially from one of his sons, Perturabo would relieve Dantioch of his command. As a sign of penitence and regret, Dantioch would go on to forge a mask/helmet that he would go on and graft to his face, perpetually leaving his face inside this helmet that looked like the very symbol of the Iron Warriors. Rumor has it that Dantioch grafted it to his face fresh after it was pulled from the forge, meaning that the metal was still glowing, burning hot. Seeming in the state that Dantioch was now left in, almost unfit for battle, and losing the favor of his Primarch, Dantioch was left to the fortification of a lesser world known as Damantyne. Due to all the failures that Dantioch had against the Hrud, his name amongst the Iron Warriors was also synonymous and a byword for failure. Now, while left on the world of Damantyne, Dantioch would go on to hear the rumors and word that was spreading around the galaxy that Horus was fortifying his troops to rise up against the Emperor. And Dantioch, although he was crippled, was no fool. He truly believed that the majority of the Iron Warriors would join alongside their Primarch and Horus in order to lead the rebellion against the Emperor. And sure enough, Dantioch was correct. Eventually, Warsmith Crendel would arrive onto Damantyne, requesting that the forces garrisoned there would be used to support any of the forces that were going to lead the offensive against Terra. But to Crendel and Perturabo's surprise, Dantioch would refuse the orders given to him by his own legion. And so the forces of Lesser Damantyne would remain loyal to the Emperor, and the rest of the Iron Warriors, especially Crendel, would vow to destroy Dantioch's beloved fortress in the name of Horus. In the midst of the battle and the conversation that would go on between Crendel and Dantioch, a loyal son of Hrud Incursion known as Nicodemus was watching this whole entire discussion. Nicodemus was tasked with recruiting Dantioch on a special hidden project that would later be revealed the Pharos. Hrud Incursion was well aware of Dantioch's intelligence and believed that he could be a valuable asset, and so Nicodemus was tasked with recruiting him. Although Dantioch would eventually accept this offer, he was first tasked with holding off the traitor forces long enough so that Terra and the Emperor could fortify their defenses. And sure enough, Dantioch completed that task. He himself, along with his company, would hold off against the whole legion of the Iron Warriors as well as the traitor forces of Horus for 366 solar days. The traitor forces could not break the walls that Dantioch had set up until they had to unleash an Imperator-class Titan. At this site, Dantioch knew that he was beat, but that didn't mean that he was out of the fight. He would gather his remaining forces and teleport on top of the traitor's flagship in outer orbit. Dantioch and his forces would successfully take the traitor flagship and then make way for Ultramar to accept Hrud Incursion's original offer. Not long after arriving into the Ultramar sector, the Ruin Storm would be created, splitting the galaxy in half, and Dantioch was tasked by Hrud Incursion to reinforce the defenses of Ultramar. On top of fortifying the defenses, this is where he would also be tasked with studying the Pharos, which would serve as a beacon throughout the Ruin Storm on the planet Sotha. For all intents and purposes, and based on a technicality, Barabus Dantioch was a traitor, not to the Imperium, but to his own legion. He hated his legion for what they became, and so not only did his mask become a penitence, it would also become a mask of shame, acknowledging the fact that he was ashamed of the state of his own legion which he originated from. There is so much more to Dantioch that I truly appreciate. He's an amazing character and has so much depth and emotion to him. Let me know if you guys want a part 2, or if there's anything else you guys want to hear in the comments below. And as always, remember to follow for more.